Looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning, my futures family. It's time for the market forecast, Tuesday, November the 1st. Hard to believe the 11th month of the year already. As always, our focus is on accurate context, good risk management, and remaining patient if you are already in the markets this morning. And we do have some markets on the move already. Hopefully things are going your way. Starting with the economic numbers today, the FOMC meeting begins today. We won't be hearing anything from them until tomorrow at 1 p.m. 8:45, the PMI manufacturing final is due out. 9 o'clock, of course, these are all in Central Time. The ISM manufacturing index due out. Construction spending and the job opens, labor turnovers comes out. Also, it's the beginning of a lot of information this week about employment. Of course, we have the FOMC meeting. And don't forget, the midterm elections next Tuesday. Lots of uncertainties, lots of things going on, and some expectations in the markets. I know that I'm trying to keep my expectations reasonable. I feel like the markets are going to just be looking for areas, and traders are going to be adjusting inventories and getting in and out of trades and hedging until after certainly tomorrow's FOMC meeting, unemployment on Friday, and then, of course, the midterms next week. We got U.S. stock index futures starting the month off to a good start here. We know that there's an FOMC meeting, tons of employment information. We were just talking about all of that. October becomes the best month for the Dow since 1979, 14% higher from the beginning of the month till the end of the month. Apparently, the Dow is the flight to quality we've all been looking for. A lot of your riskier tech stock traders have gotten out of some of those stocks and gotten into some of the Dow stocks. Dollar is edged lower this morning as traders are starting to mull the potential of slowing rate hikes at the December FOMC meeting. Everybody is still expecting 75 basis point increase on Wednesday, but looking forward, they're starting to think maybe some of the tea leaves are saying maybe we can slow some of the pace of these rate hikes, which of course would be a good thing. As far as earnings this morning, we got a long list of some smaller companies, if you can call, multi-billion-dollar companies, smaller companies. Uber out with mixed information. Phillips 66, another energy company, also with a little bit of mixed information. After the close today, we have AMD and Public Storage. That's what we're looking at. VIX this morning is slightly lower, 25.78. That's another thing that's keeping me reasonable with my expectations for opportunities, for ranges, and for profit targets. 25.78. The dollar index lower this morning, 110.75. Back down below 111. And the yield on the 10-year back down below 4%, 3.93%. So we are, again, looking to see what we can find here today. As always, if you like what you see, hit the lucky like button, share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome here on the Market Forecast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications when we do go live. We do have Make Hogue Money today at about 8:20, just after the Market Forecast. So we're going to get through these charts so we can get prepared and meet you in the markets. Bring your good trade ideas. Got my brother first in the room this morning. Good morning, Rick. You would win the prize, but unfortunately, employees and family members of the employees are not eligible for the prize. So Dark Heaven gets the prize this morning. Ooh, and what a prize it is. Caprice, good morning. Jules, Shaw Cunningham, good morning to you. Brody, Theo, good morning. Scott, Sonny Concord, Joel, MB, good morning, everyone. I know it's early, right? I don't even think my keyboard's been working correctly this morning. The Rooster, good morning, crowing already. Bill Phillips, good morning. Sonny, I hope you keep all your wins greater than your losses today. And of course, we hope for all of you as well. Doji Candle, good morning. Vince, good morning, my guy. Jason Dowitzer, DA, Casey, Tachyon, good morning, Tachyon. It's good to see you again. Marcelo, Rusty Golfer, my spirit animal is here. Dimitar, Ricardo, NASDAQ, Jordy, Tachyon. Started my new job last week. No time for forecast and stuff. Less time for trading. Well, got to take care of business, Tachyon. Take your time. You keep learning, keep working on it, and maybe one of these days this will be your job. Trading research. Good morning. Foggy here. New day, fresh start, new month, fresh start. Good. It was pretty foggy out here this morning as well. It was kind of eerie this morning as the sun was beginning to come up and the dog was dancing on the dew on the grass. Anissa, good morning. Terry King. Mr. Hanford, good morning. Do you think it's a coincidence that we are at the area level we were right before the last Fed decision on 21st of December? For 21st of September? Probably not. Probably not. If there is some sort of correlation to that, if there is some, you're noticing that, then it's important because it's something that you've noticed. It's something you need to notice and look at. Mr. Ray, good to see you this morning. We're going to share a three-eyed wildebeest later on. Unicus, good morning, and here is his quote for the day. We love these. When one teaches to learn. So true. It's one of the things that I love about doing the group coaching and some of the individual coaching that I do is not only, do I feel like maybe I'm helping somebody else, but I learn so much from all of you, and it couldn't be more true. Great quote, Unicus. When one teaches to learn. Trading research, where do you get your VIX reading? I use MarketWatch, but it's delayed quote. I only check it once pre-market, so likely it doesn't make a difference. However, I'd prefer real time. That's what I'm looking at too. I just watch the MarketWatch. I don't think that it's that vital to have in real time. Matt Reed, good morning. Three Lions Insight, good morning. Hagel Matters, good morning. Rob T, Serenity Trader, and JST Wave. We are set to get into the charts this morning. Now, markets have moved a little bit. We've got the equities to the upside. We've got gold moving higher. We've got the euro. We've got some of these markets, and I think basically based on the fact that the dollar is off a little bit in many of these markets, other than the fact that there is some speculation of slowing of interest rate hikes. So, numerous countries selling the U.S. dollar, Rick says. And where is it right now? I've got delayed quotes on this too. It's still, 110.82, so a little bit higher than the last time I checked, but nothing impactful, I don't think. Let's take a look into the charts. Let's get set and go. So here are the S&Ps. Excuse me. Look at what we have. We have the longer time frame. There's the all-time high. Lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. In the longer time frame, this market still looks very weak. It's still in the down mode. In the day time frame, still in the down mode, but in the short time frame, we've got a nice little rally going here, don't we? starting on the Thursday that we said, wow, that's a whole lot of excess. Price got real cheap there and was swiftly rejected, and we've been largely moving higher ever since. Yesterday, on a pullback, we added 16,000 in open interest on negative delta. The delta on the day time frame was approximately minus 6,000. There's a reason that we're going to be looking at that. Last week's high is where we seem to be contending with this morning. That's not the right 30-minute chart. So last week's high we seem to be contending with, let's put that right where it needs to be. We've got overnight inventory to the long side. When we look at the range that we had yesterday, it was a very narrow range, very rotational, and yet we still had 6,000 negative delta. Now think about delta. Delta is the number of contracts that trade on the bid, which is positive delta. Buy market orders create positive delta, minus what trades on the offer is buy market orders. That's positive delta. Sometimes I get a little bit confused. What trades on the bid is sell market orders. That's negative delta. You take the positive delta, subtract the negative delta. By the end of the day yesterday, we had 6,000 contracts more that traded on the bid than on the offer, but the market wouldn't break. Did that indicate that there were possibly some longer time frame traders adjusting inventory there yesterday? It very well might, and now it's being substantiated by the fact that we added 16,000 approximate new contracts in open interest. If that's the case, then we probably ended up getting short time frame pea shooters like me a little bit short yesterday, and now we're starting to see those shorts maybe rolling over into longs with the overnight inventory. So I'm thinking about this overnight inventory as partially short time frame shorts getting out, meeting short time frame longs accumulating a new position. We're right up to last week's high. We've got another point of control just above that to check. We are going to be opening with a gap. We do have a late spike on Friday, a late spike that we rejected yesterday. Are we now accepting higher pricing because we're back up in that area? Very interesting. So we're going to watch and see what happens on the open. We'll be together for the make Hogue money, and we'll see if we can't find an early opportunity because we're opening out of range, out of balance. Up at last week's high, there's bound to be some opportunity up there for make Hogue money today. We're going to go get it, and you guys are going to find it for me. Crude oil. Right, here we are. We've really kind of established an area of balance. We've got the area of balance, really value, weekly kickoff low and last week's high. Weekly kickoff low, last week's high. Those are the areas I'll be more interested in looking for opportunities. We added 1,000 in open interest on the downside yesterday. Probably not all that impactful. We did have some pretty decent volume on that push to the downside yesterday. Market finding buyers. All right. Till recently, we had an inside extended trading hours. Weekly kickoff low, last week's high are the extremes. Let's see what we're seeing here on the 30-minute chart. So yeah, we've created or are going to be creating a gap above yesterday's session. We've got naked point of control that we've gone through in the overnight that hasn't been checked in regular trading hours. We got another one here. We got last week's high. Looking at opportunities up here looks interesting to me. We are holding overnight longs. Again, overnight longs. Well, we had positive delta throughout the session yesterday, not necessarily the same negative delta divergence that we're seeing in the S&Ps, but we're getting pretty close to the upper extreme where I might be more interested in looking for opportunities. Why? Because I can limit risk. We limit risk. JD Royalty, good morning. Yeah, we start at 7:45 for the forecast. Good morning, Orion. Okay. All right. So, again, we're opening out of balance from yesterday. Early opportunities may present good trade locations. Let's watch the opening range trade here and see if that does anything for us. Where is that? Opening range. I'd have to reset that, so we'll just watch this. We're looking at 24 ticks right now of the opening range. Trading right to the overnight high, just short of it here. This is in Sim. Okay, now there's the opening range. So this is Sim. I'm going to put a stop there, and I'm going to put a stop up here to buy it. We'll come back and see what happens after we look at the other charts. NASDAQ. Remember, that's just Sim. That's just to see if the opening range trade was going to provide an opportunity for us today. Remember, we opened outside of range and outside of value. We're out of balance. An earlier opportunity may give us a good opportunity. Here's the NASDAQ, very similar but different. Look at the longer time frame. Okay, it's the same chart as the S&Ps. Longer time frame, lower. Medium time frame, balanced. The NASDAQ has been presenting as the weaker of the two, but seems to be more of in an area of balance than the S&Ps right now. The short time frame, we're looking at continuation to the upside. We lost 3,000 in open interest yesterday, different than the S&Ps, right? The S&Ps, we gained a bunch of open interest. We had... I can't see it just yet, but let's take a look. Here's the 30-minute chart. We had pretty much just even delta yesterday, even higher. We don't really have any divergence here in delta, but yet the market continues to push higher. Overnight inventory to the long side. We're a lot further from last week's high. This week's high is right here. Interesting level. Interesting area. George. Yes. You got a fan down here, Lacey. George says you're the center of the universe. He agrees with you. So overnight longs, are they going to continue to get paid? Are they going to get nervous and give us trade location lower? Got a gap. We can't close the gap relatively early. We'll look to see our short time frame traders continue to get paid. Now think about the VIX. The VIX is low. We're not looking for huge ranges today because VIX is reducing in quantity, right? VIX, lower volatility, lower ranges, more reasonable expectations for profit targets. And of course, that is going to change probably in a heartbeat tomorrow at 1 p.m. But until then, we've got to keep our wits about us. If you start seeing dollar signs, you're probably better to get out of that trade and take that money and look for the next opportunity. Here's gold, short time frame balance. Okay, overall, lower highs, lower lows, longer time frame, lower, short time frame balance. Volume was pretty low yesterday. We didn't really do much of anything, although we did lose 3,100 in open interest, which I find interesting with that low volume and losing that open interest on a down day. Makes sense that we're looking back to the upside, especially with the dollar showing signs of weakness. So the dollar brings bids. Here's the 30. Overnight inventory to the long side. We've got this gap up here that we were pointing out that it looks like we're going to recheck that gap. We do have naked points of control. We have weaknesses down below. Interesting opportunity this morning. Interesting trading. The market's been kind of one-time framing higher. I don't necessarily want to fight that, but it did come up and close this gap. I believe the gap has been closed in regular trading hours. Now where's it going to go? If we can't continue to push higher, we know we've got some short time frame longs that might freak out and push this market back towards settlement. Here's the euro. The dollar pop when it started taking to the downside. It's kind of killed our volume and open interest here in the euro. We lost approximately 9,600 in the euro yesterday. We're centrally located between last week's high and low, weekly kickoff high and low. There's no reason, I think, to really get too involved here. We're centrally located. Remember, that's like our little tennis player that is waiting for the next volley. So he's in the center of the court, ready to catch and volley the ball back whichever side of the court that it's knocked to. Here's the 30. So again, overnight longs. We're having a little bit of trouble getting through this naked point of control here, it seems. I don't even think we've necessarily touched it, but we've been close in regular trading hours. So again, opening with a gap. If we can't close the gap relatively early, we look for the short time frame traders to continue to get paid. If that doesn't happen, again, they can pull the market back. If there's enough longs there in short time frame and they decide to bail, they can push price back into range and back towards settlement. Thank you, Shaw. Yeah, the gap in gold closed in regular trading hours. Seems like that's the high and the low of regular trading hours so far. There's the euro. Here's the 10-year. Rates drop. Prices go higher. Lost 19,000 in open interest yesterday. Makes sense, especially if we're thinking that a lot of traders are going to even up or hedge for the FOMC meeting tomorrow. You see the market heading back to the upside today. Again, we've got overnight inventory to the long side. Overnight starts here. We're trading here. We've got a whole bunch of short time frame longs holding on to these longs here. If they don't continue to get paid, we could see them pull back. With VIX lower, there's a pretty good probability of that. We're looking for smaller ranges today. Anything can happen, of course. Here's the natural gas. So we've got last week's high, weekly kickoff high, somewhat magnetic yesterday, now seemingly offering a degree of resistance. So somewhere up here, we've got our upper extreme of balance. Somewhere down here, we've got our kind of a slanting trend line. We've got a rising triangle going on here. We added 2,000 in open interest on that push to the upside yesterday. Nothing tremendous. I mean, this was yesterday's regular trading hour range, magnetic towards weekly kickoff high, and now seeing some resistance at that level and perhaps looking to cover this gap, cover these points of control before finding new direction. Juan, for open interest in ES, 16,260. No. Here's the bulletin. So for the ES, you're seeing in the front month 2,295,000. In all of them, you're looking at 2,356,000. Now I'm going to give you a link so you can get the bulletin and get the right information here. There you go. So here is the bulletin. This is what it looks like. If you're looking for the S&Ps, go to equities, equity and index futures. Click on that. That's what you're going to get. It says preliminary now. At about 9:30, it's going to say final. The only thing that may change will be the open interest. It takes a little time for the exchange to even calculate true open interest. This is an estimate. By about 9:30, 10 o'clock, this will say final, and the final information will be there. All right. Back in floor days, I started actually at the mid-am trying to learn how to trade grains, and then I went over to the S&Ps, and I wasn't a big trader, 1 to 5. You could do a lot of damage with a 5 lot, trust me. How about the market doesn't like how the high is in the overnight session? That can be very true, and what are we looking at here? We're looking at the S&Ps. New high in the overnight session. Yep, you've got it. And it's a recent high. And the market doesn't like that, but it doesn't necessarily have to run straight to it. Let's take a look and see what we got here in our crude oil. So we've got the opening range here. We took out the opening range first. We are currently long, but we're right where we got in. So we haven't really seen a continuation. We've got our stop just below the opening range down here. But this is how the opening range works. That first minute, you stop in the long when it takes out the high, and if it continues, you're in good trade location. No, those were the big daddy contracts. Excuse me, my goodness. Yeah, so yeah, those were the big contracts. That was before they split the contract, and then, of course, long before the minis. All right, so, well, let's get ready for Make Hogue Money. Take your deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. Don't carry any bias. Trade what you see. We know we've got oodles of information coming out. So we're going to keep our expectations reasonable as far as profit targets and entries. Get out there and profit today. Hopefully I will see you for Make Hogue Money. We'll be ready here in just about 5 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it in Zoom. We'll look forward to seeing you all there. If I don't, have a great trading day. Don't forget we have Coach's Playbook today at 11:30, and then we'll have the recap today at the end of the day. So, and today it's at 3 o'clock because Make Hogue Money's in the morning. All right, let's get out there and profit. Trade well today, everybody.